Right, welcome everybody. Welcome to grade 11 maths with Mr. Simons. In this lesson, we'll be looking at trig functions and specifically looking at the graph of y equal to tan, but we're looking at the effects of a and q on the graph. Right, two short slides, but it should give you the overall bigger picture. All right, so given to us first y equal to 2 tan a plus 1. We should know the period is 180. That's based on the fact that that is a. It should be 180. You should see I have asymptote at 90 and 270, so generally a full trig function looks like that, going up and down, would be between 90 and 270, so 270 minus 90 gives me a period of 180. Right? The range, as you can see, that graph can go all the way continuing up but not making contact with this red line, can go all the way down but not making contact with the red line at 90. So y is the element of real numbers, and you can write y element of negative infinity to positive infinity. So to plot the function there, you know how to use your Casio and the step function if your teacher has shown you that. But I'm old school, I still physically work out so that you understand, I understand the shape. So tan of 0 will always be 0. 0 times 2 gives me 0, but plus 1 means instead of having a point at 0 and 0, the plus 1 has moved the graph 1 unit up. So instead of my points being all the points that would have been 0 being on a black line, they've moved up 1 unit. So you see there, tan of 0, 0, but plus 1, 1. Tan of 180, 0, but 0 plus 1, 1. So instead of having 180 and 0, it becomes 180 and 0. Then tan 0, 360 gives me 0, but 0 plus 1 takes me 360 and 1. So you can see that 2 or 1, 2, 3 units moved 1 unit up because of the plus 1. Right? Then tan 45, which is always 1. But now the 2, 1 times 2 makes it 2. But a plus 1 takes it to 3. So therefore 45 and 3. So there you can see there's my new point. At 225, that will also be 1. 1 times 2 gives me 2, plus 1 gives me 3. So that becomes 225 and 3. If that a value was simply 1, like a normal number, the plus 1 wouldn't be there. That would have read 45 and 1, and that would have read 225 and 1. But the 2 there now means the 45 is 2 plus the 1 unit. All right, same thing at the bottom. Tan 135 is generally negative 1. But here, negative 1 times 2 gives me negative 2 plus 1 then makes it negative 1. And the same with 315. 315 is generally negative 1. Negative 1 times 2. Negative 2 plus 1 gives me negative 1. So as you can see, there's my graph. So 0 and 1, 45 and 3. 90 is undefined, so there we draw asymptote. The graph's not allowed to touch it. 135 and negative 1. 180 and 1. 225 and 3. There we have one complete tan graph. Then we have 315, which is at negative 1. And 360, which is at 1. And that's basically what our graph would look like. Right, I'm going to do a second example. So let's look at another example. Right, so this one says 3 tan a minus 2. So generally, as I say, we should remember 0, 180, 360 gives me 0. So tan of 0 is 0, tan of 180 is 0, tan of 360 is 0. So 0 times anything, 0. But negative 2 there means I'm moving 2 units down. So you see there, instead of 0 and 0 being at that point, moved 2 units down. Instead of 180 and 0 being there, it moved 2 units down to 180 negative 2. And there 360, 0 minus 2 also move 360 negative 2. So you see there, they've moved 2 units down. So instead of being plotted on the black line, they've moved 2 units down. So that's what the Q value has done. So it moves the graph either up or down. Specifically at 0, 180 and 360. Right, now if we look at 45, as I said, tan 45 is generally 1. 1 times 3, 3 minus 2 still gives me 1, so it's still at 45 and 1. 225 also is 1, so 3 times 1 gives me 3, minus 2 gives me 1. So there we have 45 and 1 and 225 and 1. 135 and 315 both gives me negative 1. So 10, 135, negative 1, negative 3, negative 2 would give me negative 5. Same there, negative 3, negative 2 would give me negative 5. Then if I plot it, there you can see we have that part. Make sure this line doesn't touch the 90 degree where it's undefined. That's my asymptote. And make sure when you draw the full tan graph in the middle, it doesn't make contact with 270 there or with 90 degrees this side. Right, so hope you understand. Wish you nothing but the best. Right, so we will give you graphs where either we change the A value or we change the Q value. Ask you to plot it and then answer questions on it, specifically period and range. Right, if you liked and enjoyed the lesson, please like and subscribe. God bless. Bye.